Okay. Hi. Hello everyone. Yep. Can you hear me? Is it perfectly audible to all of the audience out there? Okay. Okay. Perfect. Thanks everyone for being here. I'll quickly share a small anecdote about myself because this is the first time I'm coming live on an academy's platform. So my name is Mohit. I have been part of CodeChef. I've been a part of Anup's team for more than 1.5 years now. And today, I'm very privileged to have a really exciting guest out here, Mohit, with me. Okay. To quickly introduce Mohit, Mohit himself is a coder. He has been leading engineering teams at an academy, sorry, at Urban Company for a very long time right now. Okay, and he started his journey from NIT Allahabad, and then he went on to intern at Cisco. Then he started his professional software development career at NetApp, and then after one thing led to another, and now he's making a huge impact at Urban Company. So, why don't we do this? Mohit, if you could introduce yourself to the community, that will be perfect. Okay. Thanks, Mohit. A quick question there. You mentioned that you have been a part of Urban Company for a very long time now. In fact, you were one of the initial members of their engineering teams, as I understand. So, how was it like? You started with a very established MNC NetApp, and then you transitioned into various roles, and then what was what was going in your mind when you started this journey with an Urban Company? What was the vision that you saw back then? I mean, yeah, if you can talk about that aspect. Okay, okay, nice, interesting. Mohit, just 1 second. I think a few viewers on YouTube have commented that they are unable to hear probably. Uh, just give me a couple of minutes. We'll get this sorted. One second. To the audience who's out there, I'm so sorry. This is, my first experience too with this online classes. But yeah, just a couple of minutes. One second. I'll get it sorted. Okay. So meanwhile, the viewers on YouTube, if you could come to uh, an academy's platform, that'll be perfect. Yeah, hi Vinita. Apparently, the viewers are not able to hear on YouTube. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, Mohit is audible on an academy's platform. Am I audible on YouTube? Okay, so let me do this. Um, okay, I have turned on my desktop audio too. Can you? Is there an echo on YouTube now, or is it okay? Okay, Mohit, can you see something now? Just to confirm if. Okay, cool. I'm so sorry for this confusion. You know, So we have an audience watching on YouTube too and on Academy too. So by the way, to give a heads up to all of us out here, we'll be trying to take all the questions that we have received. We received a few hundreds of questions, before the event, before this particular conversations with CodeChef episode, and we have selected a few set of questions from there. And apart from that, we also have a set of questions that we'll be taking during the live section. So if you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to put that up in the chat section. And I have a great team helping me out here. I have Deepthi, I have Shutali, and Antara. Thanks to whom we are pulling this off. So they'll be happy to note down your questions and we'll be taking them up. Okay, cool. So yeah, so let's get started. Mohit mentioned about his journey at Urban Company, how he got started with it. For the viewers on YouTube, just a quick introduction about him. He graduated out of NIT Allahabad as a computer science engineer, and then has held various responsibilities and various roles. Currently, he's leading engineering teams at Urban Company, which is an Indian unicorn in the hospitality space. Okay, cool. So coming on to the first question that we have received from the community. So if you can share, how was your journey like from an intern at Cisco to director of an urban company, as in, how did you pick up the roles that you were picking at every point of your career? Because you work with different sets of companies at every point in time. So can you share that with our audience?
devices. And that was kind of an amazing experience, like kind of figuring out what exactly is happening on my laptop, how the OS is kind of optimizing for storage allocation, how all the things are working, and how to code on top of it, how to code on top of operating systems as well. That kinds of gave me a lot of exposure in terms of systems. I was literally having a lot of interest into systems as well, because that was core to, or that was closer to my heart, given that I like to be grounded in terms of the basics. So that's where I kind of enjoyed a lot working with NetApp. And I worked over there for couple of years, and then I started my journey with Vizuri. Vizuri is one of the startup which probably which was solving for real time bidding systems at that point of time, and it was such a amazing startup that I learned a lot over there, majorly from the people who worked over there, quite senior, quite down to earth, quite amazing in terms of building scalable solution, building amazing tech, and a lot of ownership, right? So this is something that I was lucky enough to kind of being part of Missouri, where I was given a lot of opportunity in terms of, and a lot of freedom to work on certain problem statement which was not having any solution that point of time. And over the period of time, I kind of learned to kind of how to go about approach a problem statement, and then solving it up end to end. And then after Vizuri, I had a small stint with IBIBO in Gurgaon, and then I started my career with Urban Clap. So so far, till Urban Clap happened, I was majorly solving problem statements. I was gaining experience in terms of how to approach a certain problem statement, how to reach from solving a small project to a complex project, to a project which can scale well, which can stay for a long term, which can think of a futuristic use cases, which is flexible enough that in future that you are not having a certain technical debt on top of it. And that's how it all started with Urban Company as well. So for a first 1 year, like, it was a crazy roller coaster ride, right? Because in urban club, in any startup you work with, right, whenever you join a startup in an early stage, it's all about hustle. you know um, you have to build things, you have to build things fast, you have to fail fast, because the major idea is to kind of go out over there and bring out your brand up. You have to make sure that your customer experience is good, your customers are happy with the platform, and you have to kind of release pretty fast. You do not have any idea about when is Saturday, when is Sunday, and you are burning your midnight oil and all over the place. And after 1 year or so, that I got the opportunity to leading the teams, and that's where I started leading various problem statement. And again, very early stage, 2 years into the company. Overall, the company journey was 2 years only, and that time I started leading certain pieces into it, with one of the pieces like matchmaking, which is a core, a big problem statement, big chunk right now in itself, where you have to find out the right professional for a particular request, how to solve it without jumping onto the machine learning. That is something that I learned that point of time. Things which are the problem statement which are hard to solve, which are about the optimizations and efficiency. Machine learning is not the right answer in the early stage, because you have to gain a lot of data, lot of experience. You have to reach to a scale where it makes all sense, and that's where I kind of handling this whole thing, whole mandate up, was itself amazing in itself. And then I led different teams for 2 or 3 years over there, and then I started this vertical which I'm currently heading, which is platform, with a very couple of engineers. It was kind of a startup for me as well within Urban Company, that how to solve for core engineering problem statements, in a dedicated fashion. How to build platform. An Urban Company has been has been able to do pretty much a good job in terms of platform thinking as such. It's not about the tech itself; it's about the product platforms as well. If you talk about how should pricing work, how should capacity overall works, how should um, catalog or different categories and launching a different categories work, how should we handle internationalization or launching a city. This all has been possible, like within a 5 minutes or so you can launch any particular category in a particular city. It does not take much of a time. That kind of platformization and standardization urban company has invested into. And this is, yeah, this has been a quick journey. Like, it has been a roller coaster ride, but to be a director or to be a leader, it doesn't matter. Like, overall title is a byproduct of the impact you create. Okay, I do not see that title is something that that defines you. It's the impact that defines you overall. If you are able to create the impact for the larger group, for the company which is making it progress faster and further in a positive direction, that defines how much impact you create, right? And that's how it all started. Like, leadership has been one of the things that I learned over the past 4 or 5 years with urban company, because it has different stages altogether, right? So if
Right.
I talk about at a early stage leader, that has to be very good in terms of tech, because the people who you are managing or who you are leading the team as, they should be looking up to you in terms of as a tech leader. Once you are good at it, once you are able to solve for them, once they're able to see that they are able to look up to you for any problem statements, or for these things, or for the complex project, or for the blockers and for stuff like that, that's where it starts boiling down to solving for growth of the people. How to start building more leaders within your team. And that's one of the toughest problem, I would say. Like, it takes a lot of time, lot of energy, lot of hand holding, lot of planning, lot of working together. It's just amazing. Like, whenever you are very new to the system, and whenever you are early in the career, you feel that, what does my manager does do, it doesn't make sense. He just earns so much money, and he is just cribbing about me, and I'm not performing well and stuff like that. And what exactly does he do? What is the impact that he's create? But when I am in the shoes of being a manager, I am totally able to understand and correlate to what it takes to kind of be at that role and create the impact. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That is something very important, actually.
Mudit, I am not able to hear you. Sorry.
Okay, one second. One second. Let me just pull it up. Class settings. Can you hear me now? Okay, one second. Hello. Mohit, are you there? Okay, can the audience hear me? The learners
Yeah, I
audience.
can hear you now.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I mean, this is a very interesting thing that you mentioned. When we empower our, the ones who are working in our teams, and kind of help them create a larger impact. All in all, it all pays off over a given period of time. And one very interesting thing that you mentioned was, like, that the title is a byproduct of the impact you create. And this is something that kind of is a very good indicator, a very good message for the ones who are still starting up. Maybe they're starting their own ventures, or maybe they're starting their journey at a particular startup or an MNC. If you're making impact, you will gradually reach there. Learning is it's like a gradual journey, as Mohit shared through his own experiences. Afzal has asked on the Academy platform. He happens to be from, does people from BCA backgrounds, do you think they can crack good software development jobs? And if yes, then what is the route to go about it?
See, ultimately, I don't think that there is a certain thing that about a college or a degree. It works to a certain extent. But if you're really, really good at and passionate about engineering, then, like, it's not about overall. to be from a great college or to be from the probably having a great degree or great CGPA. But ultimately it's about, are you having a very strong hold in terms of the basic knowledge? Are you understanding each and every bit of the courses that you have gone through, or the computer science courses that you have gone through? What generally lacks in people whenever they try to start their career and all, whether they are from the same college or whether they are from a good college or like IITs and ITs, doesn't matter. That attention to detail is something that I generally see for. Whenever, if you're having operating system as your course, or you have data structures and algorithm, or you have problem solving skills, and that is something that is deep within you, and you are able to shine in that particular thing, like I think nobody can stop you. It doesn't, if it is about being, have you because you have done BCA, will you be able to crack, or you will have to do BTech, or you will have to do MCA on top of it? I don't think so. Like, you probably should start initially from the learning perspective. Wherever you go, you learn a lot, you build a lot, you shine a lot from there, and then automatically things will pan out for you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so it's like it's about covering the fundamentals and knowing the stuff. Uh, uh, Eventually, if you're persistent enough, is what Mohit wants to probably wanted to convey, that if you're persistent enough, if you have the right skills, you will get there. BTech, BCA degrees might be a small hindrance, but you can get there eventually. Um, Cool. Moving on to the next question that we received during the registration processes. So this is especially very much interesting in the context of an early stage engineer, as well as, I mean, I can say that even for senior engineers, you can share your opinion on that. Do you think engineers should be specialists or generalists? Like they are good at particular set of technologies, or what do you opine on that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it used to puzzle me as well in the early stage. But what I would say that do not try to be do not try too hard to be either a specialist or to be a generalist. Try to go as things comes to you. Overall, whenever you are working in a particular company, the kind of opportunities that you get, that defines you. If you are solving a certain problem statements, and you know the each and everything out of it, every bit of it, that is something which is more important than to be a specialist or to be a generalist.
Right.
It can be a mix of both, right? You can be you can be a jack of all trades, but or you can be a great engineer in certain particular area of data engineering, or probably system designing, and probably a cloud engineer, stuff like that, right? Each and every space has their own growth, or on their path. You don't have to kind of worry too much about it. But whatever you do, thrive for excellence. That is the major importance, in my viewpoint. Rather than worrying too much about that, I have to do this, and there are multiple things out there. I have to also do front end and back end. I have to do data as well. I have to do machine learning as well, and I have to do multiple other things as well. And because of that, if you are kind of getting too paranoid about it, you might not be reaching anywhere, right? So take things as it comes, strive for excellence, be very good at what you are doing, right? So I have seen that people answering few of the questions when I ask, you have worked on this project, what do you know about it, what is your opinion about it, and how do you feel that you can improve on top of it. I generally get answer, because people are new, and their managers or leaders they have given the instructions on certain things. They take it as it comes, and they just start executing on top of it. Rather, you should question the status quo, why actually you are kind of solving this.
Right.
Focus on the why of the problem statement. If you do not understand why you're solving this, you are probably wasting your time. If you are not convinced that solving this particular problem statement is going to make an impact, um, And if you do not know about it, you should ask your mentor, your oversight, or whoever it is, right? But once you do, let's say somebody has decided for you, I will, the choice of databases and choice of tech stack and stuff like that. But do you if even if you are not part of that discussion, it is important for you to understand why the decision has been made in that particular direction, right? uh, it is great to be a specialist, it is great to be journalist. There is no both have certain trade-offs. Okay, you should not be focusing on one aspect as such. For example, if you are solving a problem statement as a cloud engineer, right? Do you understand all traits of the problem statement that you are solving in detail to the architecture and design level, no matter you have experience to that or not, right? You have built yourself or not, because there are a lot of documentations, lot of content out there to learn about. And once you do that, right, I think that is something, a foundation for you for future impact that you can create.
Okay.
Otherwise, just doing what you're told to do, you probably will take some time to kind of reach there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it's like, it's important to question the status quo and kind of have a clear understanding about what you're doing and why you're doing it. Is what
Mhm.
Mohit mentioned. Do you think this particular ideology also applies to early career professionals, or maybe let's say students?
It does, like
On
it does to both folks, right? So if I can give my personal examples, probably, when I started with NetApp, I was, because there are a lot of hierarchies and stuff like that, and I had a great mentor that time, and who was helping me out on certain things. But overall, the code base and the platform was so big that it was hard to get the sense of all the thing in one go, because you had to invest a lot of time to be there. When I Similarly, when I jumped into a startup like Visury, over there I was not having any mentor at all, right? Does that mean that I should be cribbing about that I am not having mentor, or should I capitalize on top of it and uh, take the opportunity and freedom given as a byproduct, and kind of start working on top of it and then evolve as an engineer, right? Initially I got a few feedback, like it is funny story, like I was talking to my CTO that back then in Visury, and I just started my journey with Visury, and it was just 1 month into the system. I was getting the feedback, Mohit, there are certain changes that you have done, it's great, but you are getting a lot of iterations in terms of the code that you have written. And it happens with every engineer who kind of writes code in the early stage. And that is something that stuck with me, that I am probably not doing the good work. I am probably not doing my bit in order to make sure that whatever I build, that is going into, with one go, it is going into this production, and it is not having any breakages or whatever, right? So that is something that is stuck with me, and it stuck with me for, very very long time. And since then, like, I have been making sure whatever I build and whatever I give for review, or whatever I start thinking in, I try to look at all the perspective, all the edge cases in layman, and figuring out how to make sure that the solution that I am building is kind of not having too many iterations, and it is optimal enough, right? So this is how I would see this. Yeah.
Okay. So takeaway for our learners from this maybe discussion would be, ask questions, be extremely involved, keep learning, and understand why you're taking a particular decision. And if somebody else is doing that, know about the why aspect of it. That will kind of take you a very long way ahead. Cool. Moving to the next question. Okay, it's a very standard question that we hear from a lot of people. This is a bit more contextual to the internships part of it. Can you share some tips for cracking great internships at broad-based companies while being from a tier 2, 3 college? I think just to clarify a bit more on this, what the learner probably wants to understand is Typically in tier one colleges, a lot of, let's say, in an IIT, uh, the learners out there might get a lot of opportunities, might get a lot of companies coming on campus. But let's say you don't have that. How can someone go about tracking great internships at that point in time?
Hmm. So I think there are two things. One is uh, invest a lot into a practical knowledge than a theoretical knowledge. Um, Theoretical knowledge obviously is important. Without that, you can't apply on practicals and gain the practical knowledge out of it. I have seen in the same standard of colleges, whether it is tier one, tier two, there are multiple type of and different type of students and candidates I have seen. There are certain candidates who go very bookish about whatever is being taught, and they just probably do not understand it, but they learn about it and without going much into detail, without actually understanding what exactly is happening behind the scene. While the other folks are there who understand the bit from the practical knowledge point of view. So if I talk about analogy, right? Everybody must have seen uh, a movie called Three Idiots, right? In Three Idiots, you will be seeing that always at each and every point of time, Amir Khan says that engineering is not about just being bookish and learning, and there is a chatur guy who used to learn and just pour out in the exam sheet. It is all about the practical knowledge and being close to engineering rather than being close to the words that it is giving you. So same thing, one is that you have to be very, very gaining a lot of practical knowledge, and it does not need you to be part of any internship as such. You can do it while you are actually in the college itself. There are a lot of platforms out there right now. An academy is one of them probably, and there are multiple other platforms out there which can give you that kind of experience where you
Yep.
can do competitive programming. That is one thing, right? You have to be so if I talk about product based companies or any companies or tiny tech companies, if they have to hire you as an intern or as a full time employee, they need to understand how good you are in terms of solving a problem statement.
Right.
And data structures and algorithms is one of the way to judge how good you are as a problem solver, as an engineer, right? How and in that the most important thing is how good you write the code.
Yep.
It's not about somebody can write a code in 10 lines, but if it is not readable, then it does not make much sense for somebody to kind of invest in you, where somebody else has to invest a lot of time while you gone to kind of rewrite that code, right? So code readability is very important, the code quality is very important, that it is kind of a language that you are dealing with, like we deal with English, Hindi, or whatever language there are. Similarly, you are communicating with a particular coding language, whether it is Java, Node, C, C++, Golang, Ruby, whatever, right? So you have to it has to be beautifully written, that somebody looking at it can understand it in a detail, without asking you what exactly you are doing in this particular code, right? That is one important thing I would say, apart from data structures and algorithm and being a good problem solver. To attain to being a good problem solver, there is nothing but practice, right? You have to solve a lot of problem statements. I want Initially it might be important that you solve very advanced data structures and algorithm questions, and you should probably do that. They are kind of practically used in multiple different scenarios like fintech and all, where dynamic programming comes into play, and where like if you talk about different advanced programming in terms of graphs and all, whenever you're solving things like Google Maps and all that, because it uses some sort of Distra kind of algorithm and stuff like that. So you have to be knowing about these concepts as well. But majorly, I would say that you should be a good problem solver.
Okay.
Um, won't recommend that you have to be having a very, you should have advanced concepts like segment trees. You need to have advanced concepts on red black trees, and advanced concepts on data dynamic programming, and multiple things like that. That is important, but that's not the only thing. Like, I see people focusing on that aspect a lot. There are companies who ask these kind of questions, and that is totally fine, because it is important to have that kind of problem solving skill over there. And especially fintech companies have that kind of ask as well, that people are able to think from the analytic and heuristic point of view and solve that kind of problem statements. But more or less, it is very important to have pretty decent, learn in terms of how to write readable code.
Yeah.
uh, and that is the major important thing, I would say, from the coding perspective.
Okay.
And when you are not receiving companies, not getting opportunities, what will be the best is to kind of reach out to the community. There are multiple players out there as well who connect you to different companies like Internshala or whatever. There are other companies as well, where you can try your luck. Also, you can reach out to few people over various professional platforms to connect to them and understand whether they have certain positions open, and have your resume and kind of reflect your work that you have done, which can be beneficial for them, right? So there are multiple folks I know as well, that who were not from a great college or probably from the tier 1 college, but they are doing pretty well right now.
Yeah. Especially in
And
the CP community, I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, we come across a lot of such people who make it really big in the world of programming, and the community is beautiful. People are looking to help. Uh,
yep,
yeah, yeah, that's a very important thing. And I mean, the learners must note this point that there are. I mean, I think there are two things that you mentioned. One is problem solving is very important. Knowing data structures and algorithms is super critical. Apart from that, it is important to know how to write good, readable code. The code
yep,
quality is important, and
correct.
uh, yeah, I mean, develop some practical experiences around it, so that you can make yourself ready for the opportunities for the time when you get it. And as far as connecting with the right set of people is concerned, there are communities out there. There is a community on CodeChef. There is a community on platforms like LinkedIn. Uh, Try reaching out there, and people are more than happy to help in most of the cases. Cool. Moving on to the next question. Okay, this is something that has you mentioned about a good mentor several times. So how to find a mentor who will help you throughout your learning process? How does one go about that?
Great. So, uh, see, there is no standard process to find a good mentor, right? It happens as you go in your career, and uh, once you work with different companies, and you figure out, uh, whoever is your oversight, if you are able to look up to him, right? Whoever is the oversight is definitely there, and probably leading you because he has done certain work in the industry. So best thing would be to kind of learn all the positives out of him. you
Yeah.
know Everyone has certain things to kind of improve upon. Even I am having a lot of things to improve upon, but what I would say that it is very important to learn positives out of your current oversight. you know the second thing that can help you out, if you are in, the mentor can be anybody, it need not be in your current organization. It can be your senior as well, who is probably doing pretty well and who is kind of working in different companies and stuff like that. You can connect to him every month or so and kind of discuss few of the things where you are kind of struggling and take suggestions from it. Mentor can be somebody in your family as well who has seen a lot of things in the same space and kind of building a lot of things over there. He can be your friend, or he or she can be your friend, or he or she can be your overall professor as well, who you work with, because that is, professor is your first mentor, by the way, in the professional industry, right? Because he will be giving you different projects to work upon, which is closer to the practical applications, and then you will be kind of working under him. So it is very important to have a connect with these guys. You have to figure out and identify these folks for yourself, where you feel that there is a connect, you can resonate with them. Once you see that, keep having that connect going, not just necessarily for the benefit of, you will be gaining out of it, but also from the lens, to build a strong community.
Right.
Just from not with one person. It's not that necessary that you learn from one person only. You can learn from multiple other folks as well, and learn that, build that community out, build that social community out. I think that is something that's how you should progress in the direction. And learning process is not for a small period of time. It's like it goes throughout your life, when till the time you kind of go away from this life. The learning process will always be there, and there will be mentors throughout the time when you can take the learnings from, you can learn from, and take positives out of them. And yeah, and just focus, be forward looking. That's what I have to say about this. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Moving on to the next question. Mohit, I have a quick question. There are
Hmm.
around 15 minutes remaining. Would you mind if we, do you want a hard stop at 1 hour, or you would be okay to stretch it by, let's say, 10 minutes or so?
I can do 10 minutes more, yeah, because we
Okay.
lost 10 minutes before, yeah, so fine.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Thanks. Okay, coming on to this question, I think Mohit has mentioned. Okay, is there some noise from my end? Is it
No,
manageable?
I think it's fine, it's fine.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. I'm glad. Okay, so they just work from home things. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, I mean, coming on to this particular question about data structures and algorithms, I think Mohit has emphasized pretty much upon it. Just to reiterate what he mentioned, it's important to uh, be very good at DSA. Problem solving is at the crux of everything, and beyond that, one must know how to write good quality code. If you have these two things, you are pretty much in a good shape. I mean, you are moving in the right direction, I think. We will skip this question in the interest of time. Uh, yep. So next question is, okay, how to overcome demotivation phase during CP or competitive programming? Or maybe let's maybe probably you can, if you want, you can extend this to any particular aspect of one's journey. How do you overcome demotivation when you're aiming big and trying to pull off things and they're just not happening?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I'll start with a small story of myself. So I was into the second year of my college. I was trying my hands in competitive programming. I was good in academics. I was having good, 9 point above 9 pointers throughout the four semester I was part of. And that time we had this insomnia kind of an event where you have to do coding throughout the night, and that was the competition about. And when I tried this for the first time, the competitive programming, I got zero out of the four questions. I tried two or three questions, but I was not able to kind of solve any question completely. And that kind of stayed with me like anything. I said that, what is the meaning of getting so much marks? What is the meaning of being a computer scientist if you're not able to solve a problem solve a particular question and write a runnable code which works optimally, and stuff like that. And that is the time when I decided, instead of overthinking, is the only way to kind of solve it is, just get into it. And that's where I started doing spoj, that is fair online judge, online program. uh, I went about crazily, like solving thousands of problems over there. And I was getting very much paranoid and very anxious about where when I would see accepted for each question that I go
Yeah.
and kind of solve for. And I was feeling very much proud of certain questions when they were solved and they were tricky to solve for. And it was not easy to kind of go about it and solving it. And over the period of time of next after second year, the next 4 or 5 years, I continued doing this without any stop. Even after joining, fresh out of college with that app, I was doing competitive programming. Like I started doing CodeChef as well pretty late, though. I did Spoj for 2 3 years, and then I started with CodeChef. And the reason I started with CodeChef, I was very much, to be honest, I was very much scared. How would I do with competitive programming? Because it's time bound, it has scores. You have to deal with the pressure. You have to overcome your fears and stuff like that. And that's where when I started CodeChef, it was like there are two types of challenges: short and long challenges. And I started with long challenges because I needed time to kind of think through the problem statement. I liked challenging problem. I was sure that I have solved a lot of problem statements that I would be able to do good. And then did it for last, around for 2 or 3 years over there. And that kind of gave me a lot of confidence over the period of time. And during that time, there have been a lot of phases where I was totally demotivated. There is a problem statement I am stuck with for around a week, and I'm while sleeping as well, I'm thinking, what how to solve it, why I'm stuck on this, where exactly I'm missing something and stuff like that. The only thing to overcome the demotivation factor is to kind of never giving up, uh,
Right.
always keep trying on whatever you are doing. Do not leave, do not first, do not have very much overconfidence. If you are having a lot of overconfidence, that is also not good. But keep trying. You will feel demotivated, you will feel down, you will feel dull. It's okay, and these are the okay emotions, and it happens in your career as well. Like if I talk about my career, there have been phases where I was feeling so much down. I was thinking that what exactly I am doing, what is the existence of myself, and you get a lot of existential question about yourself, why you are a developer in first place,
Yep.
right? But the idea is to kind of let it flow, let it seek in. Do not get much deeper into the thought process where that does not make sense to you and you do not see any light out of it. Come back and start, re-energize yourself. Do a small Take a small break, do a party with your friends, and keep your mind as cool as possible and start fresh. And believe me, after a certain period of time, it will be like you will be able to overcome whenever you see certain failures. And competitive programming, like, it takes time. If you are starting with it, it will take a lot of time in initial 3 to 4 months, at least. And if you're good at it, but if you are very much into, very naive and very fresh into the starting this, where you do not know about coding, it will take even much longer period of time, right? So you have to keep trying. You have to be uh, making sure that you are not kind of deviating from the idea of trying things up as much as possible.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, uh, I think everyone in their lives would have this question, would come across this existential crisis at some point in time, and they would wonder, "Ki kab hoga, when we will pass a stage?" And it's all about kind of being there, trying again and again, finding ways to re-energize, as you mentioned. And then, you mentioned that you started with 0 questions at your first on-campus CP contest, and then you like literally solved 1,000 plus questions on Spot, and then now you started with Coach's long contest.
Mhm.
Uh, and do you think all it was worth it? Like people invest a lot of energy in it. Do you think this?
It does, right? if
Okay.
if I have to literally tell you, what are the various advantage of doing competitive programming. uh, I would say there are like 3 4 main advantages out of it. One is, when you are doing competitive programming, it's about covering all the edge cases, right? That is the one of the most important thing that help, otherwise your answer will be wrong, right? uh, because of the edge case analysis, this has kind of helped in each and every project throughout my life, where I'm able to widen up the problem statement to a long term from the long term thought process perspective, and see that ultimately will this be solving for future use cases or not, right? It's not just about the current short term problem statement.
Yep.
You can take edge case analysis to any extent. It can be a specific line of code, it can be a small function, it can be a small module, it can be a whole project, it can be a design, it can be architecture, it can be anything. It is about you thinking through that you have to apply that edge case analysis each and every phase of your development, whether you are starting from scratch. The second piece I would say is, because you have to solve it in test time complexity, you will always think from the perspective of performance. Whether your whatever code you are writing, is it performant enough or not, or you are able to, is it going to scale well as well or not over the period of time, right? And that comes when you are actually very much paranoid about solving with the best time complexity kind of a use cases. And these are the two things I would say which is a very important trait for any engineer at any phase of his career so far. And there are few other things which you learn from over the period of time, like trade-off analysis, like what is wrong, what is right.
Yep.
And that comes with experience. Over there, probably competitive programming will help you not to that extent, but as you start solving more practical problem statement in your career, that comes very handy as well as you scale.
Okay.
So yeah, I think this is pretty much important. I would say, um, like this, if you do this, this is going to help you out in a great positive manner.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. So, just to summarize what you mentioned, like, uh, so there are two factors that you mentioned. Primarily, it's like it kind of teaches how to take care of edge cases, and it pans out not just during the CP career of someone's the CP journey, but throughout the life, you start thinking about problem statements in a different manner. Like it develops a kind of problem-solving approach over a given period of time, and then yes, it kind of develops one how to think about space and time complexities, which is very important. It doesn't you I mean At some point in time, at this given point in time, you might not realize how it will help you in your real journey, but when you're out there, things will come very naturally to you, as Mohit mentioned. So
Yep.
yeah. Neeraj is asking, how important is it to learn new framework as a beginner apart from CP? uh, yeah, if you can quickly answer that.
I think you can start with any language. I won't recommend to kind of go very much into learning a new framework, new skill set. Being a good problem solver, very hands on, have a great fundamental knowledge and basic knowledge. Whichever interest that you have, whether it is front end or back end, that should derive from all the practical projects that you have done, you should be good at it. Whatever you do, you should be good at it, right?
Yeah.
uh, Specifically, do not force yourself to learn a specific framework, but yeah, like problem solving, coding, writing a readable code, whichever way you want to build it, like whether it is front end or back end or data or machine learning or whatever, it doesn't matter, whichever career you want to start with. But you should be knowing a basics of that thing. You should know what kind of problem statement you are solving, why you are solving it. You should know the details of it, so much or so that you exactly know that why this is going to create an impact after a certain period of time. There is no single framework, though there is no silver bullet that can uh, give you you know increase your career growth by 20%, 30%, or 5%, if you learn it. There is no single bullet like that. So I won't recommend to focus too much into new framework. If you are interested in it, if you are passionate about it, definitely go ahead and go for it. There is no stopping in that, and you should. It will be a good positive for you. It will be good to have for you. It will benefit you definitely. But is it the only thing? Like, is it going to, uh, you know, should you not focus on coding? Should you not focus on readability? Should you not focus on problem solving? Then the answer is no.
Okay. I think that was a very, very, I mean, clear answer to that. Anshu has asked on a YouTube channel, can mechanical engineering students crack product-based companies? I think this also gets covered in the aspect where Mohit mentioned that anyone from any background, unless and until they know the basics, they know the core subjects very well. They know the
Yep.
stuff, then they can crack the jobs. I mean, it's all a like cracking jobs is a byproduct of the efforts that you put in. So know your stuff and
It's all in your head. Yeah.
yeah,
This is
yeah, right.
this is that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sirsha is asking she's asking what is CodeChef? Okay, cool. That's an interesting question. So, Mohit, would you like to answer that question because you have been a CodeChef user yourself?
So, CodeChef is a platform where you can do competitive programming. You can participate into live contest. Uh, there are a lot of, and you will be competing with, multiple scaled up coders out there. If you win a particular challenge, there are certain goodies that you get. I'm not sure what kind of goodies they are because I haven't won a CodeChef challenge as such, but pretty hard problem statement, but pretty interesting. Apart from live contests, you can also do competitive programming on CodeChef, where you can find multiple problem statement around versus multiple areas, and you can go ahead and solve those. So yeah.
Yep. Uh, well, that is very much precise. And beyond ratings, beyond the goodies bit, there is always the ratings element of it. When you compete every time, you build a rating for yourself, and that, uh, I mean, you have to be there to kind of feel the exhilaration it gives. It takes time to get there, like build a good problem-solving aptitude and a good rating. But once you are there, it has its own set of benefits. You just need to get started. By the way, Mohit mentioned about long contests. Our current month's long contest is going on, and the ones who want to start CP, they can just log on to CodeChef, start competing. There's a very big community out there. You can just explore the platform. It's absolutely open for anyone to kind of compete and learn from it. Do that, get started, and it'll you will get there eventually. Cool. Okay, how to become an expert in coding from scratch? I think this is what he you need to get started and get started, and then you will get some direction on your own. Mohit can maybe add a bit more clarity on this particular aspect that Rohit has asked.
So, how to expert in coding from scratch where you haven't? So, first of all, you need to gain certain basic knowledge about coding. Um, that requires certain basic knowledge about systems. For example, operating systems, how things work, what are the different data structures and algorithms. um, Once you are into, like, you have solved for and figured out what are the data structure and algorithms and understand the practical use cases of it, you should go about solving different problem statements on various platforms. Like CodeChef is one of the platform for that where you can figure out easy, medium, and hard problem statement to solve for. And you should start with easy problem statement in first go. Like, for example, how to search for a particular element in an array. As simple as that. Yeah. So the linear search kind of a problem statement. So this is how you should start, and just keep trying, keep practicing. This is the way to go. And once you are into the competitive programming space for 1 year, 2 year, like, you should get over there. Yeah.
Right. Cool. I think now we will try to pass on questions. How to prepare for a role at urban company, and I just peeked into the next slide also. So I think what kind of work culture can one expect as an engineer at an academy? If you can answer both the questions. Uh,
Yeah, I think I can club both the questions. I think how to crack SD role in urban company. I think I have already tried to explain that from the perspective that you have to be a good problem solver, a good coder, writing a great code as well. If you are early in the college, if you are early in the career, um, as you scale over the period of time, you should be pretty good in terms of the design as well. The design aspect requires you both from the low level design and the high level design, where you are able to understand again the why of the problem statement, the deep root reason of why we are solving it, how we are solving it, and what are we solving in that particular problem statements. uh, how to kind of uh, divide a problem statement. Overall, think from the perspective that you should not be thinking that I have to build a cool tech, right? You should be thinking from the perspective how to build a right solution. Have to be as basic as possible. Uh, Generally, people go over engineering a certain problem statement where there is no need. You have to be making sure that you are not doing that kind of a mistake. You're writing the right, asking right questions. Again, as I said, keep asking the status quo, and keep trying to communicate. If you are a smart, quick learner, zeal to kind of create an impact, and have a pretty good, very good in problem solving and coding and designing, then I think you should be good to go. The other thing that in terms of what kind of work culture can I expect as an engineer in urban company, I think multiple things. One is tons of opportunity, a lot of freedom. You will not get any spoon feeding. You will have lot to learn and lot to build. uh, you will get a culture where everyone codes, including me. You will be solving problems by building different platforms. You will be solving certain things which is going to create and impact into the community. And we love to contribute into the community as well, like open source meetups, hackathons, conferences, blogs, etc. uh, we are the remote first and the tech first organization, right? Which means that because these times, like, and we are in the direction of opening an office in Bangalore as well in next 1 year. um, and also, like, in terms of the tech first, like, if a problem statement is there which can be solved through tech easily, we focus on that, and tech should be powering each and every pillar of our business. This is what we are gunning for, and we are already in that direction. So this is a brief answer in terms of that. I think they should answer and cover up the questions, right? Yeah.
Sure. Thanks for answering that bit. But a quick follow-up question is: is urban company hiring on today's date?
Yeah, we are hiring. We are hiring pretty much in each and every role, as the one, two, three EMs, and senior EMs, and across the different domains,
Okay.
whether it is back end, front end, data, machine learning, or as a ML engineer, data scientist, data analysis, uh, every role. Like, so, we are hiring across the board. Yeah.
Okay, nice. So the ones who are probably looking to join an open company, they must. I think you have heard from the man himself. What are the skills that you expect and what you get out of open company? Just focus on that and yeah. Moving on to the next question. Okay, this is an interesting bit. Okay, I think this is the last question for the day because if you want to have put up some questions, you can do it now on an academy. But yeah, this question that we have in front of us. This is something that a lot of recruiters would also might want to know. Why do recruiters like the top tier recruiters pay so much attention towards CP? Uh, ऐसा क्या है? What is there in CP? Like why CP so much? Yeah, if you can answer that bit.
So I think if I talk about recruiters from the HR perspective, it is something that they were told to kind of filter out on probably. But if I talk about the leaders, or probably the hiring managers who are kind of paying so much attention on CP, it is majorly from the focus whether you are a great problem solver or not, you are a good problem solver or not, right? Nobody would like to hire an average guy, right? Everyone would want to hire people who are smart enough, who are passionate about problem solving, who are there to contribute, create the impact, rather than coming as on board, where they will do or seek for what has to be done. So we are probably looking for people who can do that kind of, who can take projects independently and contribute on top of it. And CP, I'm not sure about myself that I do not ask for the first question that do you do competitive programming, but I do ask question like, do you do coding? What kind of problem statement you have solved? How do you write code? What kind of and try to judge in terms of the complexity. If I talk about the first call, if I have with any candidate who is approaching us, competitive programming is something which is, you know, people do in terms of you know, participating in different um, contest out there, like ACM, ICBC, and stuff like that. And CodeChef also has its own contest in itself, and that is good bit. Like that is, if somebody has done CP, he has upper hand itself. Like because he has done spend a lot of time in terms of writing code which is optimal, which covers edge cases and stuff like that. Then it boils down to, if somebody is very good in CP, it boils down to how to write a readable code, and whether he has certain opinions, like can he evolve himself in terms of the thought process, or is it like you know, restricted to a, you know, certain area itself. So that is something that comes overall from the IQ perspective, like as you scale. Yeah, so this is I would say in terms of this. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, now I think there's just one last question that we will take, a live question that we have received on an academy, on Learn City with CodeChef. Do you think urban company is a well-established company or still a startup? It's
I
just a
think
unicorn, but yeah, you can
it's
answer that.
it's a startup. It's a mid-stage startup, I would say. It's a well-established company, definitely. Like we are clocking in terms of revenues, in terms of requests. We are clocking. We are already surpassing the pre-COVID levels. So that is a positive sign for us.
Okay.
We have been able to survive through pandemic by multiple projects that we have. Uh, we invested our time during the COVID time, where we kind of invested in terms of one of the project we did is Area 59, 51, where we kind of make sure that how to handle you know, the places, the red zones, the green zones, the orange zones, in terms of the deliveries, as soon as, because of which in the as soon as the second lockdown or the second phase of lockdown came up, unlockdown came up, that's where we started our services, and we were up and running. The other bit is overall safety aspect of the things, where we integrated with the Arogya Setu app. We built product for online training and stuff, where we had built solutions where we were able to do image recognition about the selfie, where the person has, wear the mask, or he has wear the gloves or not. We shipped a lot of PPE kits and the gloves to all the professionals out there. We retained our supply by giving them and dispersing a huge amount of loans with zero interest as such to all the professionals out there. And due to all the investment that we did that point of time, we have been able to kind of survive through pretty well. And we are clocking, probably surpassing the all the pre-COVID levels in terms of revenue as well, which is a positive sign itself. And we are gunning towards in terms of scaling internationally and nationally in next couple of years
Okay.
as it comes. Yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting. Uh, yeah. So I think we are towards the end of the session. Uh,
Yeah.
we had a very great time. I'm sure the Learners Horn, YouTube and an academy also had it. Uh, all thanks to you, Mohit, for being here, for joining us and sharing your thoughts, your learnings with our community. We'll be soon coming up with the next episode of Conversation with Code Chef. Meanwhile, I'll end with the standard line that like, share, and comment. Okay, and subscribe. Okay, do that.
Great.
Stay in touch with Code Chef, and yeah, thanks again, Mohit. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Madhu. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.